I recently found an old douche of mine from back before I fully understood bottom prep. And the more I learned about douching and the hygiene aspects and how to do it properly and safely, it got me thinking, when I wasn't douching properly and also wasn't properly cleaning it, what did the inside of my douche look like? So I decided to cut it open with scissors. And what I saw shocked me, and I'm gonna show you. This is the inside of that old douche bowl. Now, can you see all that gross, dark stuff that's built up on the inside? That is mold. That is what the inside of your douche can look like if you're not properly cleaning it. This is one that I was just quickly rinsing with cold water and not letting it dry properly before putting it away, as well as storing it in a very warm bathroom. Leftover moisture plus a very warm environment equals the perfect environment for bacteria to grow, which means the next time you come to use it, you're gonna be firing all of that bacteria straight up inside you. And even if you are regularly cleaning it properly, anal douches still need to be replaced regularly, because no matter how much you clean it, over time bacteria and mold can still grow in these. The inside of your butt is a very delicate and sensitive area, and anal douching in general can irritate it, especially if we're not cleaning things properly. Whilst thoroughly cleaning the inside of your douche can seem difficult, it is absolutely possible, and that is what I'm going to be teaching you to do today. Firstly, replacing your douche. I remember when I spoke to a friend about this and they said that they hadn't replaced their douche since they were in university. This person was late 20s. So I absolutely dread to think what they were firing inside of them. According to Dr. Evan Goldstein, a leading anal health expert specializing in LGBTQ+ anal rectal care, we should be replacing our anal douches at least once a year. Now, this does depend on frequency. If you are someone who tends to douche more than once a week, then it is recommended to be replacing your douche at least every 6 months. If you douche less frequently than that, then replacing it once a year should be fine. Again, assuming that you are properly cleaning it. Firing that bacteria straight up into your rectum could not only put your health at risk, but could also disrupt the very delicate balance of the inside of your rectum and affect how your gut works, which could make douching even more difficult. So please, for the love of God, regularly replace your douche. Now it's time for me to show you how to clean it. Simply rinsing it with just tap water isn't going to cut it, as bacteria can still grow. So we're going to be using an antibacterial hand soap, and any antibacterial hand soap will do. Then you need to get yourself a small disinfected bowl, jug, container, whatever. But the key word there being disinfected. Because again, there's no point trying to clean something if what you're cleaning it in is full of bacteria. And that includes the sink. Sinks harbor a lot of bacteria, so unless you are going to thoroughly disinfect it, a small disinfected jug is preferable. I just use a simple plastic measuring jug, purely for the purpose of cleaning my douche. So this baby permanently stays in the bathroom. Yes, you can use any container that's been disinfected, but personally, I don't want to be cleaning my douche in something that I'm also going to eat my pasta out of. Of course, if it's been cleaned, it's absolutely fine. I would just rather not. Now, because of where the nozzle is going, there is a chance there's going to be some residue left over. And sometimes it can be harder to shift than normal. So for that, you're just going to grab either a cotton pad or just a standard pipe cleaner. This will help you dislodge anything that's stubborn and also disinfect the inside of it. And finally, a lint-free cloth to dry the bulb and the nozzle as much as possible and to leave them on top of to air dry. Now let's get to cleaning. We're just going to add 1 pump of the antibac to whatever container you're using. 1 pump is more than enough, so long as it all actually goes in the container. Then we're gonna add some lukewarm to hot water to the container, and make sure to add the water relatively slowly, otherwise you're gonna end up with more bubbles than water. Now we're ready to clean. Remove the nozzle from the bulb and drop it into the water to soak. Now, like you would if you were douching, you're going to squeeze the bulb to get any air out, dip it into the water and release. That then sucks water into the bulb. Now you don't need to fill the bulb entirely, as that makes this cleaning a bit easier. Cover the opening to the bulb and give it a little shake. Hold it above the sink and release the water. And then we're just going to repeat that process a couple of times to try and clean it as thoroughly as possible. Now, once you've rinsed the bulb out with antibac, there is going to be some soapy water left inside. We want to make sure that we get all of that out, otherwise you're going to be spraying antibac inside you. And there is no scenario that we want to be doing that. Same as before, squeeze to let the air out, hold under the tap and release as that then sucks the water in. Give it another shake and release the water into the sink. Repeat the same process a couple of times. Once you've got all the soapy water out, you want to try and get as much moisture out of the bulb as possible. Moisture remaining in the bulb increases the likelihood of it going stagnant and growing mold. Now, a little while ago, someone commented on one of my videos talking about douching, saying that these are classified as one-time use. Now, whilst that was completely incorrect, their reasoning was on the right track. They said they were one-time use because they're very hard to clean, dry, and can grow bacteria. So you can see why they came to that conclusion. Now, cleaning them isn't the difficult bit, it's the drying them that's difficult. So what we're going to do is hold the bulb above the sink and try and squeeze it rapidly with quite a lot of force. This just tries to get out as much water as possible. And give it a couple of hard shakes to try and get any water out that may be sitting further up. Now, one trick I like to do to make sure I've got as much water out as possible is to hold the bulb above my hand and squeeze it again. The reason being is that the sink is now absolutely drenched, and when water or air is being fired out, it's hard to see if any more water is actually coming out. Whereas if you do it above your hand, I can then very clearly see if any more moisture is coming out. Now, that doesn't mean that the inside is completely dry. It just means that we physically got out as much moisture as we can. Taking the lint-free cloth, you're just gonna dry the exterior, then leave the bulb upright on the cloth to dry overnight or over 24 hours. And the reason we're leaving it upright is it allows air to get inside it to help evaporate any remaining moisture. You may think that leaving it upside down is gonna get gravity to help pull the moisture out, but it means that no air can get inside. And all that's gonna do is increase the chance of the water going stagnant. Now we're gonna clean the nozzle. We can remove the nozzle from the water, and then either take the cotton bud or the pipe cleaner that we had earlier and just stick it through to try and dislodge anything that may be stuck in there. Now we just need to rinse the nozzle, dry it as much as we can on the cloth, and then same as the bulb, leave it out to dry. Now that we're done with the jug, just simply pour it away and clean it as you would anything else. And because the container has a very clear opening, you can just dry it yourself. And we're done. Now, moisture isn't the only thing that can encourage bacteria to grow. So does heat. So make sure that you're storing the douche in a cool, dry place. That means not in a humid bathroom, as that could just fast track mold to grow and you're gonna have to replace it even more often. So either store it in a bathroom that isn't humid or just in a bedside table. Now, I am completely realistic and understand that you're not always going to have all of these things readily available, especially if you're cleaning on the go. Maybe you're going on holiday, maybe you're going over to someone's house. No one is expecting to turn up to a hookup's house with hand soap and jug in hand. So if you don't have these things readily available, just some warm tap water and hand soap will do for now. But again, unless you are thoroughly disinfecting it, do not use the sink as a replacement for the jug, because that could just be adding more bacteria. I'm also not expecting you to be turning up late to things and having to say the reason is that you are waiting for your douche to dry. That's just not realistic. So if you don't have time to clean it properly or to let it dry properly, just make sure that you get out as much moisture as possible and clean it thoroughly as soon as you get home. Now, this entire process should take you no more than a couple of minutes. It is that easy. And if you take better care of your butt, then it's gonna take better care of what you're putting in there. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you learned something, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment any feedback or suggestions or anything else you wanna learn about relating to queer sex. Please also check out our Substack, where we post regular free articles on sex ed, some of which summarize the content that we post on YouTube, just in case you prefer a written summary rather than rewatching videos. There's also pieces on queer discourse, our clinic column, which is like an agony aunt for gay sex. So if you have any specific questions, you can drop us an email. And there is even some spicy literotica for our paid subscribers, written by yours truly. And I'll see you next time, where we'll talk more about having better, safer queer sex.